It's that time. Enjoying our coffee and chatting in the morning.
Yeah, Mom. It's time for Let's Talk Mortgage.
Let's do.
Mom, I hear you talk to people all the time about large balances on their credit cards. Don't banks make their money off of you owing their money?
Yeah, they do. And lots of it too. The average rate on a credit card in the United States is 15.9%. And store cards, it's a ton. And store cards are 25.9%, which is just another reason why I don't like store cards.
What? That's crazy, Mom.
Yeah, it is crazy.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It sure is. Think about it like this. If you charge $100 for dinner, like if we're all going out to dinner with friends or something, and it's $100, right? And you have that 15% credit card, that just costs you $115. On the other hand, if you go to like a store, which we're going to remain anonymous because we don't want to call anybody out on their really ridiculous interest rates, and you've just bought $100 worth of clothes, and it's one of those store card credit cards, you just paid $125 for those clothes. Unless you paid off early, of course, which unfortunately most people don't do.
What do most people do?
Most people carry large balances on the cards. As a matter of fact, the average American has $6,270 in credit card debt, which also means that they're paying $1,045 on average in interest to the banks. Crazy.
Is there a way to have cards and not pay so much in interest?
Yeah, there is actually a few ways that you can do it. First, you want to check the rates on your cards and see if you can negotiate them lower, which is pretty good skill if you can negotiate them lower.
They do that?
Yeah, some do. What's the worst that could happen when you ask them?
They say no.
Exactly, right? So what's the worst? They say no, and then you go about your day.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, when applying for a new credit card, check out the rate on the card and see if you can find a lower one elsewhere. I personally like my credit union card because the rate's only 5.7%, which is a lot lower than the national average. So if I have to carry a balance, that's the one that I do that for sure.
So how do you use your card and not pay interest?
Well, the way you do it is you avoid by paying credit card interest by paying your balance full each and every month before the end of the grace period. Now, the grace periods are at least 21 days on average, and the issuer must mail you your billing statement. So the credit card company has to mail you your billing statement earlier than the beginning of your grace period. So you have time to take advantage of that grace period, right?
Yes.
Not all banks have a grace period though. So you always want to ask them and read the fine print.
Gotta love the fine print, Mom. Better got your readers, Mom.
Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. I love that.
So what happens if you can't afford to pay off the balance in full during this grace period?
Well, if you're like many people today and you can't do that because, you know, your credit card's at $6,000, if you can't do that in your particular budget, then pay it off as quickly as possible, right? So try not to put any more debt on it either. So don't sit there and rack up more debt on top of that credit card debt until you've paid off your balance. If you're paying your balance incrementally, like let's say instead of paying your minimum balance of like $25, you're paying $200 just to kind of get that, I like to call it chunking down. You won't completely avoid interest, but you'll definitely decrease the amount of interest that you pay.
Good advice, Mom. I know Derek and I will definitely be ready when we're old enough to get our own credit cards.
You sure will be. Very ready. Anyway, we hope y'all have a great Tuesday. Thanks for watching and tuning in to
Let's Talk Mortgage.
Stay tuned. We'll have more next week.